Okay, let's begin with a question. What does it take to become an adept tactical operator, which includes weapons manipulation, individual and team-based maneuvering skills, and the ability to coordinate decisive action on the objective? Well, I've taken the liberty of breaking it down into 4 fundamental attributes, and they are as follows: mindset, balance, individual-based fluidity, and team-based synchronicity. And let's go over each one individually. Mindset is the ability to resolutely engage an opponent or challenge and enter that fight and not stop until a given objective is accomplished. Balance is direct action that is not only suitably adapted to the situation at hand, but also well executed and coordinated. It is intention devoid of any impulsiveness. Individual-based fluidity is a choreographed flow that comes from practicing scenario-based drills over and over again. This flow is not entirely scripted, but allows for creative adaptations within the choreograph. Team-based synchronicity is simply performing synchronized maneuvers consistently as a team while actively evaluating the opposing side, your own team members, as well as the entire area of operation, and adapting when necessary. Okay, for the purposes of illustrating all these attributes at work, I'm going to use a musical analogy. Let's take a young guitar player who's just starting out, and then we'll follow him through the different phases of its development. I think as we go through, it'll start to make more and more sense. Okay, let's get started. This here is Johnny. As you can see, he's just been given a new guitar. In fact, all his gear was provided by his parents, who spent gobs of money on the best guitar, top-of-the-line amplifier, fancy chords, etc. Johnny is so excited to have all this gear, and he soon begins to practice, but as fate would have it, his enthusiasm only gets him so far. After a while, his excitement wanes, then he starts to skip a practice session here, a practice session there. After just a few months, his gear is unfortunately collecting dust in the corner of his room. Let's take another kid down the street. His name is Billy. He either gets the same gear or, even worse, just a crappy guitar and a used beat-up amplifier. But in his case, he practices fervently. Billy can't get enough. He talks, sleeps, and eats music continually. People want him to shut up already about his music, but he is so motivated, he just can't help himself. Now, after about a year, he gets really good at his craft. His steadfast dedication has paid off big time, and Billy has secured for himself the attribute of mindset, the ability to resolutely engage in a challenge and to enter the fight and not stop until his given objective was accomplished. Soon after, Billy is called to join a band. With all his newfound guitar licks, Billy feels confident that he's going to make a great impression. And during his audition, he blows them away. He's really not listening to the other players. He just wants to make an impression, so he plays loud, takes long solos, and postures around like he's the hottest thing to hit the planet. Needless to say, he fails the audition because the other players cannot connect with him. They sense his immaturity, and they eliminate him altogether. In a nutshell, Billy failed to grasp the concept of balance, which is action that's suitably adapted to the situation at hand. It's well executed and coordinated, and it is intention devoid of any impulsiveness. Yeah, young Billy is bummed, and he goes his own way. But he soon rebounds because his mindset has always been in the right place. A little wiser, he seeks some musical coaches to help him out, and they suggest that he join a local ensemble, and he does this. And he eventually learns how to play with other musicians, not over them. He learns to become a team player, not the sole star player. After a few rounds with some other ensembles, he gets another audition with a good band, and this time he nails it. Now, just what did Billy do differently this time, you may ask? Well, he still plays confidently, but appropriately. He knows when to crescendo and when to back off and let another musician take the lead. He, in essence, learns balance. Good for him. Billy is beginning to master both mindset and balance. After a while, Billy becomes a popular sideman musician. He becomes known throughout the entire area, and the musicians network regards him as a reliable and competent player. He's on time for his gigs, his gear is always in an operational state of readiness, and he's learned how to support his various band leaders while simultaneously being a helpful mentor to the newbies in the band. He soon hears of an interesting opportunity. An internationally famous band is looking to replace their guitar player, and audition invitations are publicized nationwide. Billy decides to take his big shot. Now, at the auditions, every single auditioning person is excellent. They're killer players. Everyone has years of experience behind them. So here's my question. What exactly do judges look for when everyone is excellent? When everyone before them is top-notch? That's a great question. Well, they're looking for personal chemistry. They're looking for a candidate's ability to adapt quickly, to anticipate the curveballs, and to improvise accordingly over many different situations. In short, they're looking for fluidity, a flow that only comes from practicing developmental-based drills over and over and over again, and most of all, a flow that is not robotic but allows for creative adaptations within that choreograph. Well, as you might have guessed, Billy makes the cut. He nails it, and he wins the guitar chair in this internationally known band. Mindset, balance, and individual-based fluidity have paid off big time. But Billy's not finished yet. He's proven himself as an exceptional individual player, yes. Now he's got to prove himself as an exceptional team-based player. It so happens that the band is gearing up for a national tour. In fact, the band is about to embark on a long and arduous practice schedule, which will consist of months and months of practicing very difficult musical parts. Counterpoints, polyrhythms, odd time signatures, you name it. Sometimes the musical director brings in new music right on the spot, and the team must demonstrate their ability to decipher it quickly and play it competently. After months and months of rehearsals, they're finally ready. The entire group has mastered team-based synchronicity, performing synchronized maneuvers consistently as a cohesive team while actively evaluating your own teammates as well as the entire arena of action and adapting accordingly when necessary. Okay, the moment of truth has come. The band is at their first concert and they're backstage, a little nervous understandably, but they're ready to go. Now, minutes before opening time, however, a last-minute curveball is thrown their way. It just so happens that a famous singer is in the audience and she wants to sit in with the band. The band leader quickly assesses the situation and passes out her music. With only moments to spare, the team members quickly study the new music. And then before you know it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bam, the curtain rises and the band plays flawlessly behind the singer. And listen, this is with music that they've never seen or practiced before. Wow. It all looks so coordinated, effortless, and magical. The audience applauds, yay, and the mission is accomplished. Folks, this entire musical analogy that I just laid before you is, for me, the closest parallel for illustrating tactical aptitude. That is, the band here carried out direct action that was not only creatively adapted to the situation at hand, but also smoothly executed and synchronized. No impulsiveness, just direct coordinated responses. No second guessing, just a quiet determination to enter that fight and nail that objective. When it was all over, the band simply packed up their gear and got ready for the next concert. And that is more or less how special operations functions. So let me reinstate here the process of development for tactical operators in the special ops community using my musical analogy. First, all the wankers and posers are eliminated. Those who are left are only those folks who have the right mindset, period. Balanced is developed as you proceed through an ever-evolving regimen of training, and this involves close instruction and guidance from world-class trainers. As a junior member of the teams, individual-based fluidity is further fostered as you drill through endless action-based protocols. And team-based synchronicity is finally gained as a tenured team member when choreographed execution of action becomes second nature and you've proven yourself in the field. So, Mr. Analytical Survival, what does this all mean? It's really my invitation to you to look at your tactical training as a living and breathing art form right now and in the present tense. You need to come to the realization that tactical training is not mechanical by any means. There is a flow to it, and individual fluidity needs to be developed in order for true synergy to later occur between team members, and that can only happen when you practice your drills until they become second nature. You see, tactical aptitude almost comes down to a performance art, one that requires a lot of choreographed practice, a lot of maturity, a lot of control, and a lot of reading between the lines, not to mention a mindset to win. And just like those musicians, if someone throws you a curveball, you all should be able to change courses relatively quickly and adapt accordingly. Finally, let's not forget tactical aptitude is a lifestyle, and it does not stop once you leave the range or training area. You apply it to the way you live, plan, and assess all the variables in your life. It becomes an extension of your thinking. Mindset, balance, individual-based fluidity, and team-based synchronicity, they all should be a part of your worldview, and you should strive to make them the collective lens through which you engage your workspace at large. It will pay enormous dividends in the end. That I can promise you. This is Analytical Survival saying, stay safe, my brothers and sisters.